I'm Ben Ridsdale, and I'm the creator of DoctorWhoUnity. And I thought I'd talk for a little while about where the idea came from and what I'd like to do with it. So let's get started. It all began back in 2013. It was the day that Peter Capaldi was announced as the 12th Doctor, and I was visiting a friend in Liverpool, and we were having a pint on the Albert Dock, and my friend Steve Welsh, hi Steve, said to me, after an extensive conversation about who we thought the Doctor was going to be, he said to me, "You should write some Doctor Who, because you'd be brilliant," or words to that general effect. So if you're not a Unity fan, you can blame him. So it got me thinking. And then later that year was the 50th anniversary. And I went to Birmingham Comic Con on the day of the anniversary in what I envisioned to be my Doctor's costume, which looked something like this. And there I am with Mark Strickson, who played Turlo, who was my favourite companion as a kid, because he had ginger hair too, and so did I. Well, he's going a bit grey now. Because I'd always had in my mind this idea for a Doctor's costume: the loud shirt, the tweed jacket, the t-shirt, and the long black coat. In that picture, I'm not actually wearing the tweed jacket under my coat, because my friend Matt was wearing that because he went as the 12th Doctor, but didn't have a tweed jacket, so I lent him mine. Anyway, so between the August and then November, I started coming up with an idea for a Doctor Who themed, inspired thing. And it was originally just going to be a one-shot, or just a one-off fan film called The Last, which is the title of the first book in the 6 books that will make up the main story of Unity. And I came up with the idea, which is pretty much the central plot of the first book, but that would have been it. There would have been no carry-on. I'm not going to spoil the story. I'll talk more about this when book 1's out, and you can judge for yourself. So I started putting stuff together, and I was talking to my friend James, and we talked about filming it. But by this point, it was 2014. I'd moved to Blackburn. I lived in West London before. I moved to Blackburn. And the series had become a series. It had become what was known as Renegades of Gallifrey. And we didn't know how. I'd got all these stories. We didn't know how many episodes it would run for. I'd come up with a subplot which I want to use again. I'm not going to say anything right now, because I don't want to give anything away, but the subplot of the first story was something with another Time Lord, and I do want to use that again. So over the period of the last few years, the few years after that, I should say, and I was writing, and I came up with storylines, I started casting, and the people who I cast in it, they're having their characters in the books based on them. So Usas the Rani, Lord Koshi the Master, the President at the beginning of book 1, they're all based on people. They're all based on real people. And a big thank you to them for joining up with me 4 years ago when we started working on the ideas. And then the idea of Unity came. The whole concept of what Unity is, which, to be honest, I'm still quite proud of 4 years later. So anyway, that didn't happen, as you can probably figured out as you've not been watching episodes of ROG on the internet in one form or another. So it kind of stayed in limbo for a long time, until, how long would it have been now? A few months? I think it's a few months. And my daughter said to me I should just write them as stories. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And I did. And it's going well. I think it's going well. I've had a lot of positive feedback, and yes, there's been negative feedback. And that's fine, because you want to know if you're doing something wrong that people don't like. You know, one of my favourite sayings is we can't all like the same thing, because the world would be really boring otherwise. Well, to be fair, it would. Can you imagine it if we all like the same thing? God. So yes, I mentioned before, there's 6 stories that comprise the main run of Unity. That doesn't mean there's just going to be 6 stories there. There's 6 stories that are core to the plot. I'm going to give you the titles now. Book 1, which some of you have already started reading, is called The Last. Book 2 is called The Rogue Doctor. I don't want to give any plot details away just yet, because it will spoil parts of Book 1. I will say, though, that Book 3, Nobody Lives Forever, is kind of a sequel to Book 2, so it's kind of a bit of a 2-parter story. Book 4, this is where it gets interesting. I'm not saying the whole lot isn't, but this is where it kind of gets a bit woo. It's called Red 17. I do like that title. And there are a few people who are watching this that know what that means. I please, I ask you not to say anything to anybody. I'm not going to give the titles of books 5 and 6 away, because that will specifically ruin the end of Book 4. And it will probably ruin elements of Book 2 as well. As I've said on social media in a few places, Unity is set in a parallel universe. A very, very different parallel universe to our world and the Doctor Who world of the telly. Earth is very different because of the event at the end of Chapter 2 of Book 1. Again, there must be maybe people that haven't read up to that, so I'm not going to spoil anything. You'll see more of the differences in the Earth in Chapter 4, which will be with you end of the week, maybe. I need to finish Chapter 4 and get that off to my beta reader, so that can go off to fanfiction and archive of our own, which is the 2 places Unity can be found. Links down there. I've always wanted to do that. I'm so sad. As I said before, Unity will not just be comprised of 6 books. There will be other stories that will take place between the books, running parallel to the books, or even before the story, even before the books. One of them that I'm working on at the moment is part of what I'm going to call I haven't decided if it's going to be tales from the Unityverse or stories from the Unityverse, and it's the life story of a character introduced in Chapter 3, because this particular character has proved to be exceptionally popular. I've had a lot of very kind messages of people saying how much they love Chapter 3, and it does mean a lot to me that people read this and go, actually, this is really good. But I want people to get involved. As the more astute of you will have also noticed, there's not a lot of artwork. Because of my site, I'm not the greatest artist. I have a certain amount of talent, but to bring to life some of the things in my head, I can't do. So I'm happy for people to put their own ideas down on paper, drawing and stuff, or even come to me and say, I'm happy to do stuff, because the Daleks in the Unityverse are very different. And I want to show people what I mean by that. I very much think Unity is a labour of love. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it is for me. I want to share this with people. You know, it's an idea I've had in my head now since 2013. And with Jodie Whittaker being introduced as the first female Doctor, which is about bloody time if you want my opinion, elements of Unity are quite relevant. You'll see in the second book. Before I go, apologies for the half-arsed slapdash nature of this video. I've never done anything like this before. It is new to me. It's all very new to me. I have a number of projects running, Unity and a couple of other things. So I need to get into making more videos and be more active out there and making more of a social presence for me and for Unity and for other things. So please like the video. I can't believe I just said that. Like, subscribe, share, do the bell thing. There's some links in the bottom. There's the Twitter. There's the Facebook group. There's a Patreon, which is for Unity and other projects. I won't lie to you. I'll be honest about that. That's there purely so I can cover costs for things like, well, Adobe Creative Cloud is the only reason I have Patreon. I don't want to be one of those people who, you know, goes, oh my God, guys, I make this money. I literally just want to be able to cover the money for my Creative Cloud, and that's it. And that's it for the video. I hope I've not bored you too much, and I hope not driven you too mad. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you out there. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.